The ballroom shimmered with gold light and expensive perfume. Every guest dripped with diamonds, the air thick with champagne and false compliments. Zara stood near the floral arch she designed herself, her sleek black dress hugging curves that caught more than one appreciative glance. Every detail perfect, every guest exactly where they should be except her heart. It was completely out of place. She whispered to her coworker. It was behind her stood Jin Woo, the billionaire host of the event she'd spent weeks perfecting. He was taller than she expected, broad-shouldered, immaculately dressed in a tailored navy suit. His tie loosened just enough to look dangerously effortless. Long black hair fell past his shoulders, framing sharp features and darker eyes that held calm, dangerous amusement. Intricate tattoos peeked from beneath his collar and cuffs, serpentine ink curving around his throat. He leaned in, voice smooth as velvet, low enough for only her to hear, his breath warm against the shell of her ear. Try me. For a second, Zara forgot how to breathe. Heat flushed up her neck, spreading across her chest. His cologne wrapped around her like temptation, making her dizzy. I was joking, she stammered. Jin Woo's lips curved into the faintest smirk, so close she could see the dangerous glint in his eyes. Were you? His gaze held hers, stripping her bare without touching her. Then he straightened, adjusting his cufflink. You did a remarkable job tonight. My company owes you our next event. And with that, he walked away, leaving her pulse pounding and her confidence cracked. Her coworker gaped. Did that billionaire just flirt with you? Zara's lips parted, but no words came. She could still feel the warmth of his breath, the challenge behind his tone, the way her body had responded. She told herself it was nothing, but deep down she knew she was in trouble. And what he does next will completely change her life. Keep watching because this gets intense. 3 days after the gala, Zara told herself she'd forgotten about Jin Woo. She buried herself in work, but his voice kept echoing. The memory haunted her dreams, turning them dark and delicious. When her assistant buzzed through, Zara barely looked up. Zara, there's a Mr. Jin Woo here to see you. The pen slipped from her fingers. Before she could recover, the door opened. Jin Woo filled her small office. His dark suit emphasizing broad shoulders, narrow waist. Hair pulled back in a low ponytail revealed the full extent of ink crawling up his neck. Those stormy eyes found hers instantly. Miss Zara, he greeted, his tone intimate like a secret whispered in the dark. I hope I'm not interrupting. Zara forced a smile, crossing her legs beneath her desk. Billionaires don't usually make house calls. The question came out breathier than intended. He smiled, setting a folder on her desk, his fingers brushing hers. The contact sent electricity racing up her arm. My company is hosting an exclusive investors retreat in Paradise Cove Island next month. I want you to plan it. Paradise Cove Island, every planner's dream. I'm honored, she said carefully, but I assume your company has preferred vendors. I don't trust anyone else. His gaze dropped to her mouth for a heartbeat. You have an eye for detail. And he paused. You speak your mind. I like that. I like watching those lips move when you're telling me exactly what you think. Zara crossed her arms, trying to hide her body's response. And what's the catch? No catch. He leaned forward close enough that she saw muscle flex beneath his shirt. Except you'd be working closely with me every day, every night if needed, until we leave. The air tightened. Zara swallowed hard, her pulse quickening. I'll have to check my schedule. Do that, he said, standing. But don't take too long. Paradise waits for no one. Neither do I. As he turned to leave, he glanced back. Oh, and Zara. She looked up, breath caught. Next time you say rich men don't know how to please a woman. His eyes glinted, raking down her body slowly. Save that line for Paradise Cove. I might just prove you wrong in every way you can imagine. The door closed and Zara sank into her chair, heart racing, mind spinning. She was about to fall into a game she couldn't control, and part of her didn't want to. If you're already hooked, hit that like button right now. By the time Zara arrived at Jin Woo's Stellar Dynamics headquarters, she'd built a wall of professionalism. Tight blazer, clipped tone, hair pulled back, sleek. It lasted 5 minutes. He was already in the conference room, his hair loose today, falling like black silk. He wore a simple white shirt, sleeves rolled, revealing tattoos that wrapped around his forearms. Miss Zara, he said smoothly. You're early. Someone has to keep this empire running on time. Jin Woo's lips curved. You're assuming it's not already. Their eyes locked. The room felt too hot. The meeting began, but it was impossible to ignore him. The deep rumble of his voice vibrating through her chest. The way he leaned forward whenever she spoke. Every time their hands brushed, a quiet spark pulsed. Hot, undeniable, dangerous. Halfway through, he stopped mid-sentence. You bite your lip when you're focused, he murmured. Zara froze. Excuse me. He leaned back, eyes burning. Observation, not complaint, though. I'd prefer to be the one biting it. Her pulse stuttered. You really shouldn't say things like that, Mr. Jinwoo. He tilted his head. Then stop making them so impossible to ignore. Stop looking at me like you're wondering what I taste like. The silence was electric. When the meeting ended, Jinwoo stood, walking until he stood beside her. Close enough, she felt heat radiating from him. You're brilliant, Zara. But you don't have to fight me so hard. I'm not fighting. I'm working. Is that what you call it? Because your body is telling me something different. The way you clench your thighs when I get close. The way your breath catches. Her face burned. Paradise Cove is less than 2 weeks away. I expect you at dinner tonight. Strictly business, he said, though his eyes lingered on her neck, the curve of her breasts. As he walked out, Zara exhaled. This wasn't just business. It was dangerous. The tension between them is about to explode. Don't click away now. The night sky stretched beyond the jet windows. Zara sat rigid, clutching her tablet. Jinwoo looked unfairly composed, dark slacks hugging his thighs, open collar revealing tattoo edges. Even at 30,000 feet, he exuded control. Dominance. Are you always this tense on planes? He asked. I'm not tense, just focused. You've read the same page for 10 minutes, and you keep crossing and uncrossing your legs. Before she could reply, the plane jolted. Her tablet slipped. Without thinking, Jinwoo pulled her toward him. She was pressed against his chest. Solid warmth, hard muscle. The turbulence rattled and his arm tightened, his other hand splaying across her lower back. You're okay, he murmured near her ear. I've got you. She felt his breath, hot and deliberate. His hair fell forward, brushing her shoulder. His thumb stroked her back in slow circles. You can let go now, she whispered, though she didn't move. Can I? His lips were so close to her throat. When the plane steadied, he released her slowly, his fingers brushing her wrist where her pulse hammered. You don't like giving up control, do you? I don't like being someone's weakness. He studied her, tucking hair behind his ear. Maybe strength isn't about control, Zara. Maybe it's about who you trust enough to lose it with, who you trust enough to let take you apart. Her breath hitched. No man had ever spoken like that, with depth, with promise. She turned to the window, heart racing, but she could still feel him watching. Feel the ghost of his hands. Wait until you see what happens next, because everything is about to change. Stay with me. Paradise Cove Island shimmered beneath golden light. From her balcony, Zara stared at volcanic landscape and endless sea. Behind her, a knock sounded. Jinwoo stood in the doorway. No suit jacket, just a white shirt unbuttoned at the collar, revealing ink, hair loose, falling past his shoulders. You skipped dinner, he said softly. I wasn't hungry. A lie. He stepped closer. Then why does your voice shake like you're starving? His eyes dropped to her mouth, then lower, lingering on the rapid rise and fall of her chest. You shouldn't say things like that. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm doing more than flirting. Maybe I'm imagining what you look like when you come. Silence filled the space. Thick charged. Come with me, he said suddenly, extending his hand. No business. Just Paradise Cove. Just us. Against every rule, Zara took his hand. His fingers closed around hers, pulling her close for a second. Close enough she felt hard planes against her softness. He led her through narrow streets to a small traditional restaurant. They shared soju and laughter, talking about dreams and secrets. But underneath was a current, dark and thrilling. I used to think money could fix everything, Jinwoo said, eyes tracing her lips, her throat. But it can't buy peace or connection or the way you look at me right now. Like you want to devour me as much as I want to devour you. I'm not looking at you in any way. Then maybe I'm the one imagining what your skin tastes like. What sounds you make when someone touches you the way you need. The walk back was torture, their hands brushing. Each touch traveled straight to her core. At her door, Zara turned, chest tight, body aching. Good night, Jinwoo. He leaned in, lips almost touching her ear. You make good night sound like a promise, like an invitation. For a moment, she thought he'd kiss her. Instead, his thumb traced her bottom lip slowly, pulling it down. She gasped, and his pupils dilated. He simply looked at her, his thumb still on her lip. Then he walked away. That restraint felt more dangerous than any touch. The next evening, Paradise Cove hummed outside. Inside her suite, her thoughts were louder. Every moment replayed. She'd showered, but it only made it worse. Now she stood in just a silk robe, skin damp, curls loose and wild. She was pouring wine when a knock came. Jinwoo stood there, eyes darker than night, wild and hungry, hair tied back loosely. He looked at her, taking in the robe, her bare legs, wet hair. His jaw clenched. "You've been avoiding me." "I've been working," she replied, clutching the robe closed. He stepped inside, closing the door, never taking his eyes off her. "That's not what I asked. You're my client. This complicates things." He moved closer, slow, predatory, stopping just short of touching her. She felt heat radiating. "Everything about you complicates me." "I shouldn't feel them," he said, voice raw. "But I do. I feel everything. I feel how much I want you. How much I need to touch you. How much I'm dying to know if you're as soft as you look." For a moment, she saw through the armor. Powerful billionaire stripped to something human, desperate. "Since that night at the gala, I can't stop thinking about you. The way you make me feel like I'm not just money in headlines. The way I imagine you beneath me, saying my name. You don't even know me. Then tell me who you are. I want to know every reason you look away when I get too close. Every fantasy you've had about me, because I know you have them. I can see it in your eyes." Tears pricked her eyes. "I'm not someone people choose. I'm the one they forget." He reached out, brushing a tear away, then brought his thumb to his lips, tasting it. His eyes closed. "Then let me be the one who remembers. Let me be the one who makes you forget everyone before me." The air crackled. Her robe had loosened, revealing more skin. His eyes dropped, darkening. Zara didn't step back. Instead, she leaned forward just an inch. "This is the moment everything shifts. Drop a comment if you're feeling this." His control snapped. His hand slid into her hair, tilting her head back, mouth crashing against hers. Not gentle, hungry, claiming desperate. She gasped and he took advantage, tongue sliding against hers, tasting, devouring, her hands fisted in his shirt, pulling him closer. He walked her backward until her back hit the wall, his body pressing against hers, letting her feel exactly what she did to him. His other hand slid down her side over silk, gripping her hip, her thigh, lifting her leg around his waist. She moaned, and he groaned in response, the sound vibrating through her. His lips left hers to trail down her jaw, her neck, finding that spot that made her gasp, sucking, biting gently, marking her. "Jinwoo," she breathed, hands tangling in his hair. "Say it again," he demanded against her skin, hands sliding higher on her thigh. Discovering she wore nothing beneath, he pulled back to look at her, eyes black with desire. "Say my name again." "Jinwoo," she whispered, and he captured her mouth again. This kiss slower but deeper, memorizing the taste of her. When he pulled away, they were both breathing hard, her lips swollen, his hair disheveled. He rested his forehead against hers, thumb stroking her cheek. "I should go," he said, though he made no move. "I should make you," she replied, legs still wrapped around him. He smiled against her lips, pressing one more soft kiss. Tomorrow, I won't stop. But tonight, I want you to think about this, about me, about what's going to happen when I finally have you." And then, with restraint that seemed impossible, he unwrapped her leg, stepped back, walked to the door. He paused, looking back at her against the wall. "Sweet dreams, Zara. I know I won't be having any." Morning sunlight poured through. Jinwoo was gone, leaving only a scent on her pillow, the memory of his mouth, and a note. "You make Paradise Cove feel real. Tonight, I'm going to make you feel everything. Don't disappear." Her body flushed, remembering, but by noon, her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. She opened one and froze. A photo, Jinwoo and her, his hand in her hair, her leg wrapped around him, pressed against a wall. The headline screamed, "Korean billionaire, Jinwoo's new flame. Event planner scandal." Her stomach dropped. Cancelled contracts filled her email. Whispered judgments to them. She was sleeping her way up. When Jinwoo found her in the lobby, cameras flashed outside. He strode in confident, protective, dangerous, hair pulled back, jaw tight. "Come with me." In his penthouse, she turned on him. You don't understand. My reputation is all I have. They'll think they can think whatever they want. I'll make a statement. I'll tell them you're with me, that you're mine. Zara shook her head, curls bouncing. That only proves them right. You can buy silence, but I can't buy my name back. The words cut through him. Finally, Zara whispered, I need space, please. He hesitated, nodded once. If that's what you want. When he left, Zara sank to the floor, clutching her phone as flashes lit the streets. For the first time, the silence felt empty. Though she'd walked away to save her name, her heart stayed where he'd left it, along with her body's memory of his touch. If this broke your heart, keep watching because the story isn't over. 2 weeks since Paradise Cove, since Jean Woo, since that kiss that haunted her dreams and made her wake aching, Zara buried herself in work. Her name had slipped from tabloids, but not whispers. Every time her phone lit, her heart jumped. Her body responded. It never was him. She told herself she was fine. But every night, she replayed his voice. You don't have to fight me so hard. And other things. The way he groaned when she pulled his hair, how his hands had felt. Until one evening, a knock came. When she opened it, he was there, eyes tired, but burning, hair loose, falling in dark waves, almost vulnerable, but something else in his eyes. Determination, hunger. Jean Woo, she whispered, breath catching, body remembering. Zara, you look exhausted. That's what happens when you're rebuilding your life. He nodded. I tried to fix it. Called in favors. I didn't want your money or power. I just wanted my peace. And what about me? What about what we started? You don't get to ask that. You'll move on. Do you really think that's what I want? You think I've slept since Paradise Cove? You think I haven't thought about that night every damn second? She blinked, caught off guard by the rawness. He ran a hand through his hair. I've built empires, Zara, but you're the only thing I can't control. The only thing that makes everything meaningless. You're the only thing I dream about. The only thing I want. Her heart pounded, defenses crumbling, body leaning toward him. Why are you here? Because I can't lose you. You taught me what love feels like, what wanting feels like, what needing someone so badly it hurts feels like. Don't punish me for learning too late. Tears burned. I need time. Then I'll wait. Forever if that's what you need. But know this. He stepped closer, chest against her back, lips near her ear. You're mine, Zara. You've been mine since that night, and I'm yours completely. Then he left, and the air felt colder. What he sacrificed for her will bring you to tears. Keep watching. Days passed. Zara threw herself into work, but she couldn't ignore the ache between her legs, no matter how many cold showers until she saw headlines. Jean Woo's company under fire. CEO refuses multi-billion deal over scandal. Chooses love over money. Jean Woo had been negotiating a merger with a Chinese firm that publicly mocked her. The same firm that ruined her reputation, and he'd walked away for her. Phone rang. Dae-hoon, Jean Woo's best friend. Zara, he did it for you. They wanted him to denounce you publicly. He told them to go to hell. Said you were the best thing that ever happened to him. He wanted to said he'd rather lose money than lose you. That you were worth more than everyone in his account. That night, Zara couldn't think. Every reason to stay away crumbled. By morning, she was outside his building, heart racing, body humming. When Jean Woo stepped out, he looked surprised. Hair tied messily, sleeves rolled, exhausted, but beautiful. Zara, why would you do that? You lost billions because of me. It's just money. You're the only thing I couldn't replace. The only thing I need. You didn't have to prove anything. Yes, I did. You thought I wanted to protect your image. I didn't. I wanted to protect your heart. I wanted to prove I choose you always. And what if I'm still scared? Then I'll keep showing you until you're not. Then Zara took one step forward, closing the distance. I don't need the world to believe in us. I just need you to mean it. His hand found hers, fingers threading. I've never meant anything more, and I've never wanted anything more than I want you right now. Her breath hitched at the double meaning. If you believe in this kind of love, show it by liking this video. Rain drizzled over Seoul, painting Jean Woo's penthouse silver. Zara stood by the window. The chaos had quieted. Just her, the man who'd changed everything, and silence that felt like peace. But underneath was something else. Anticipation. Jean Woo stepped in, footsteps slow. He wasn't in a suit, just a dark sweater clinging to his frame. Sleeves pushed up, hair loose, eyes softer, but darker, hungrier. You didn't have to come back. I didn't plan to, But you left me no choice. You kept showing up. You sacrificed everything. I wasn't showing up for forgiveness. I was showing up for you because you're mine. She walked closer. When I said rich men don't know how to please a woman, I wasn't just talking about the bedroom. I meant they don't listen. They don't see us. But you saw me when I didn't even see myself. You made me feel things I didn't think I could feel. And you taught me that love isn't control, it's surrender. I don't want to own you, Zara. I want to earn you every day. I want to worship you. His hand cupped her face. Then, with reverent motion, he reached into his pocket, pulling out a small velvet box to catching light. Then promise me one thing. Never stop laughing like you did that night. The one that changed everything. And never stop being mine. She laughed through tears, stepping into his arms. Careful what you wish for, mister, and when he kissed her, it wasn't gentle. It was deep, claiming, full of promise. His hands slid down, gripping her, lifting her. Legs wrapped around his waist as he carried her toward the bedroom. Tonight, he murmured against her lips, I'm going to show you exactly how well I can please a woman. And as he laid her on his bed, his body covering hers, hands already working at her clothes, Zara realized every moment of pain had been worth it. Because this man didn't just love her, he worshipped her. If this story touched your soul and made you believe in real love again, I need you to do 3 things right now. First, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you never miss another emotional journey like this. Second, drop a comment below and tell me which moment had you holding your breath. Was it the turbulence scene, the first kiss against the wall, or that final promise? I read every single comment, and your words inspire these stories. And third, smash that like button to support this channel and help us reach more people who need to hear stories about real, passionate, unshakable love. Thank you so much for being here and sharing this journey with me. I'll see you in the next story, and trust me, it's going to be just as unforgettable. 6 months had passed since that night when everything changed. Zara stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows of Jin Woo's penthouse, watching Seoul's skyline glitter beneath the morning sun. Her reflection stared back, transformed. Designer clothes, expensive jewelry, the confidence of a woman who belonged in this world. Yet underneath, she still felt like the event planner who had crashed into a billionaire's life by accident. Jin Woo's arms wrapped around her waist from behind, his chin resting on her shoulder. Good morning, beautiful. His voice was sleep-rough, intimate in a way that still made her pulse quicken. She leaned back against his chest, feeling the solid warmth of him through his silk robe. Morning. How did you sleep? Like a man who had everything he ever wanted in his bed, he murmured, pressing a soft kiss to her neck. But we have the board meeting in an hour. She turned in his arms, studying his face. The sharp jawline she'd traced with her fingers countless times, the dark eyes that could go from tender to dangerous in a heartbeat. You're nervous. It wasn't a question. She could read him now, see past the armor he wore for the world. A little, he admitted. They're voting on the Paradise Resort expansion today. Everything we've worked for. Everything we've built together. She reached up, straightening his tie. Then we'll win. Together. His eyes softened, that look he got when she surprised him with her strength. Together, he agreed, catching her hand and bringing it to his lips. The boardroom buzzed with tension when they arrived. 12 powerful men and women, each one capable of making or breaking empires with a single vote. But Zara had learned to navigate these waters. She'd earned her place here, not just as Jin Woo's woman, but as a force in her own right. Her event planning company had merged with Stellar Dynamics, creating the most exclusive luxury experience empire in Asia. The presentations began, numbers and projections filling the air. But Zara noticed the whispers, the glances. Something was wrong. Jin Woo sensed it too, his jaw tightening almost imperceptibly. When the final vote was called, the silence stretched like a blade. 7-4, 5 against. The expansion was approved, but barely. As the board filed out, Zara caught the smirk on Director Kim's face. He'd been Jin Woo's rival since university, always waiting for a chance to strike. We need to talk, Jin Woo said quietly, his hand finding hers. His office. Now. Behind closed doors, Jin Woo's control finally cracked. That was too close. Kim is planning something. Zara moved to his desk, perching on the edge. Her silk dress rode up slightly, and she saw his eyes track the movement despite his worry. Then we figure out what it is and stop him. You make it sound simple. Because it is. She slid off the desk, moving to stand between his knees as he sat in his chair. We've faced worse. His hands settled on her hips, thumbs stroking through the thin fabric. Have we? Because this felt different. More dangerous. She leaned down, her lips almost touching his. Then it's a good thing I don't scare easily. He groaned softly, pulling her closer. What did I do to deserve you? You whispered try me in my ear and changed my life forever. He stood abruptly, spinning her so her back hit the desk. Papers scattered as he lifted her onto the surface, stepping between her legs. Maybe I should remind you exactly how that turned out, he said, voice dropping to that dangerous octave that made her shiver. Jean Wu, she breathed as his hands skimmed up her thighs. We're in your office. And that's exactly where I want to take you apart. His mouth found her neck, that spot that made her gasp. But first, we deal with Kim. The attack came 3 days later. Not physical, but something far more devastating in their world. Photos, videos, private moments stolen from their most intimate spaces. Someone had been watching, recording, waiting. The headline screamed across every major outlet. Billionaire's sex scandal. Corporate queens fall from grace. Behind closed doors with Seoul's power couple. Zara's hands shook as she scrolled through the articles, each one more invasive than the last. Her body, her private moments with Jean Wu, turned into entertainment for the masses. I'm going to kill him, Jean Wu said, his voice deadly calm. He was on the phone, barking orders in rapid Korean. Find out how they got into the penthouse. Find out who's behind this. Now, Zara set down her tablet, her chest tight. The photos were real. Intimate. Damaging. This isn't just about destroying us professionally. This is personal. Jean Wu ended his call, moving to her. His hands cupped her face, forcing her to meet his eyes. Hey, look at me. We'll get through this. Like we always do. But her confidence was cracking. This is different. Before, it was just business. Now they've invaded our privacy, our home. They've turned our love into something dirty. I should have protected you better. No, she said firmly. We're not doing this. We're not blaming each other or falling apart. That's exactly what they want. The emergency board meeting was called for that afternoon. Zara stood beside Jean Wu in the elevator, watching the numbers climb. 38 floors to decide their fate. The doors opened to reveal Director Kim waiting in the lobby, his smile victorious. Jean Wu, Zara. Unfortunate circumstances. I trust you're both well. Jean Wu's hand tightened on Zara's, but his voice remained level. Save the concern, Kim. We both know who's behind this. Kim's eyebrows rose in mock surprise. Behind what? The invasion of privacy. Your pathetic attempt to destabilize the company. Now that's a serious accusation. Do you have proof? The boardroom felt like a courtroom when they entered. 12 faces, some sympathetic, others calculating. Director Kim took his seat with the confidence of a man who held all the cards. Ladies and gentlemen, he began, I think we need to discuss the recent scandal and its impact on Stellar Dynamics' reputation. Our stock has dropped 15% overnight. Zara felt every eye on her, judging, measuring. But instead of shrinking, she stood taller. May I say something? The room fell silent. Kim nodded, probably expecting her to grovel or resign. I've been in this industry for 8 years, Zara began, her voice clear and strong. I've planned events for presidents, royalty, and tech moguls. I've built my reputation on discretion, excellence, and integrity. What happened to Jean Wu and me is a violation not just of our privacy, but of basic human decency. She walked slowly around the table, making eye contact with each board member. If you think this scandal reflects poorly on our company, imagine what it says about us if we let it win. If we allow cyber criminals and corporate saboteurs to dictate our business decisions. Jean Wu watched her with something like awe in his eyes. She wasn't just defending herself. She was taking control. Director Kim shifted uncomfortably. With all due respect, Miss Zara, the public perception. The public has a short memory, she interrupted. But they have a long memory for quality, for excellence, for companies that stand by their values. Stellar Dynamics isn't just Jean Wu's vision anymore. It's ours. And we don't negotiate with terrorists. The room was dead silent. Then, slowly, Director Lee began to clap. One by one, the other board members joined in. All except Kim, whose face had gone pale. Motion to table the discussion of leadership changes, Director Lee announced. All in favor. 11 hands rose. Kim sat alone in his defiance. That night, they celebrated in Jinwoo's penthouse with champagne and takeout from their favorite hole-in-the-wall restaurant. Zara had kicked off her heels, her feet curled under her on the couch. Jinwoo sat beside her, tie loosened, shirt unbuttoned. "You were magnificent today," he said, running his fingers through her hair. "I was terrified." "Good. Terror means you care. It means the stakes matter." She turned to face him fully. "I need to ask you something. Anything. Are you sure this is what you want? This life, this chaos, the constant battles. Us." He set down his champagne, his expression growing serious. "Zara, 6 months ago, I was a man who built walls around himself. I lived alone, worked alone, trusted no one completely. You didn't just break down those walls. You made me realize I never wanted them in the first place." His hands found hers, fingers intertwining. "I want the chaos. I want the battles. I want the world trying to tear us apart and failing because what we have is stronger than anything they can throw at us. I want you. Forever." Her breath caught. Forever is a long time. Not long enough. He shifted, and suddenly he was on his knees beside the couch, reaching into his pocket. The ring caught the light like captured starfire, a flawless diamond surrounded by smaller stones that sparkled like the soul skyline. "Zara," he said, voice rough with emotion. "You challenged me from the moment we met. You made me want to be worthy of your strength, your fire, your incredible heart. Will you marry me? Will you build this empire with me, not as my partner in business, but as my wife, my equal, my everything?" Tears blurred her vision, but she could see him clearly. This man who'd whispered "try me" and changed her world. This billionaire who'd learned to surrender control, who'd chosen love over money, who'd fought beside her against every obstacle. "Yes," she whispered, then louder yes. He slipped the ring onto her finger with trembling hands, then pulled her down to the floor with him. She straddled his lap, hands framing his face. "I love you, Jinwoo. I love your arrogance and your vulnerability. I love how you make me feel powerful and cherished at the same time. I love that you see me, really see me. I love you too," he said against her lips. "More than empires, more than success, more than anything I thought mattered before you." She kissed him then, pouring everything into it. All her love, her fears, her hopes for their future. He responded with equal intensity, his hands tangling in her hair, holding her like she was precious and wild all at once. The wedding was held 6 months later on Paradise Cove Island, where it all began. The same beach where they'd walked that first night, where he'd traced her lip with his thumb and she'd fallen completely. Now she stood in white silk, her hair flowing in the ocean breeze, watching Jinwoo wait for her at the altar. He wore a simple black tuxedo, but he looked like a king. Her king. As she walked down the aisle, she thought about the journey that brought them here. The challenges, the scandals, the moments when they could have given up. But they'd chosen each other, again and again. When she reached him, Jinwoo's eyes were bright with unshed tears. "You're so beautiful," he whispered. "You're not so bad yourself." The ceremony was simple, personal. They'd written their own vows. Zara promised to challenge him, support him, love him fiercely. Jinwoo promised to honor her strength, cherish her trust, build a life worthy of her dreams. When the minister pronounced them husband and wife, Jinwoo's kiss was tender, reverent, full of promise. The reception lasted until dawn, but they slipped away before the sun fully rose. In their honeymoon suite, Zara stood on the balcony in her silk robe, watching the waves. Jinwoo came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "No regrets?" he asked softly. "About what?" "About saying yes to an arrogant billionaire who thought he could have everything he wanted." She leaned back against his chest. "You can have everything you want. You have me. Always." He turned her in his arms, studying her face in the golden morning light. "Mrs. Jinwoo." She smiled. "I like the sound of that." "Good, because you're stuck with it forever." She reached up, pulling him down for a kiss. "Try me," she whispered against his lips, echoing the words that started it all. He laughed, the sound full of joy and promise. Challenge accepted. As the sun rose over Paradise Cove Island, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold, they stood together. Two people who'd found their match, their equal, their forever. The billionaire who'd learned to surrender control, and the woman who'd taught him that love wasn't about possession, but about choosing each other every single day. And they would choose each other through every challenge, every triumph, every moment of their extraordinary life together. Because some love stories don't just survive the obstacles. They're forged by them, made stronger, more beautiful, more unbreakable with every test. This was their love story, and it was just the beginning.